Many of you may
Let's
have
look
seen
at
the
what's
breaking
going on
news trending
in the
the last
news.
24 hours. While the Iranian government or the Iranian Revolutionary Guard continues to fire both hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, and rockets down to Israel and to the allies of the United States of America, the Israeli Defense Force launched a concerted, airstrikes down to the southern Tehran in the holy city of Qom, where, according to relevant reports, the 88th, Council of Experts, which I shared in this channel some time ago, that were inaugurated to champion the selection of a new supreme leader following the death of the former supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. So, according to some reports, it is claimed that this 88th, Council of Experts, that many of them were part of the casualties. Some other reports are also saying that this 88 Council of Experts, council members, were not present when that very strike came that leveled that very ground, that very site where they were having that voting, claiming that it was only a limited number of people who were responsible for counting the votes that were affected as casualties from that very strike. I mean, it may not be a very good news, but these are certainly part of the consequences of what we see when war breaks out, On
the ground just outside of Tel Aviv. Good morning, Trey.
Yeah, Bill, Dana, good morning. I do want to just start with some breaking news here before I show you the scene of one of these cluster munition impacts just outside of Tel Aviv. But I'm told by a senior Israeli official that the Israelis just struck the Supreme Council gathering where the Iranians were meeting to choose a new supreme leader. This is a significant development and again speaks to the Israeli intelligence about this war. They just targeted the meeting in Tehran where what's left of the leadership was gathering to choose a new supreme leader. The Iranians are continuing their attacks against Israel. Right now we are in the community of Bnei Brak. It's a religious community outside of Tel Aviv. And you can see where the police and first responders say part of a cluster munition that was attached to the warhead of a ballistic missile slammed into this apartment block. 7 people were wounded, 1 woman moderately. And I want to just show you the scene here in Bnei Brak. You can see the amount of destruction behind me. There is debris and rubble all over this community. And again, police and first responders say it's a miracle that no one was killed. People were home at the time, and this entire area is filled with children because the Israelis are celebrating the holiday of Purim. And so just a remarkable scene here. You can see that all of these kids are dressed up for Purim. This is considered one of the most joyful holidays in Judaism. It commemorates the events of the Book of Esther, and it is when the Jews of ancient Persia were saved by a plot to destroy them. And so this is a holiday here where people dress up in costumes and they celebrate, and this whole neighborhood is filled with families and children, and thankfully none of them were seriously injured or killed by this missile attack. But this came, as you saw live on Fox, in a large barrage launched from the Iranian regime. And one of those cluster munitions exploded, and there is damage not just to this building, but this entire area because it rained down on the civilian population below. Bill, Dana?
Trey Yingst, thank you. I'm sure we'll see you again this hour. Bill?
Dana, there is an awful lot to go over based on what Trey is just reporting there. This assembly of clerics is...
So, based on the last update that I gave, experts continues to speculate that the war will continue to rage. Yes, even though it is not certain whether Iran will be able to keep up, with the frequency as well as with the speed. You know what I mean? It is on record that United States of America, in collaboration with Israel, has depleted up to 50 to 75% of Iran's ballistic missile production facilities. And they are also focusing on their launchers to make sure that they took away their capacity to make these missiles, because whether you like it or not, according to experts, it's on record that Iran has the capacity to make these missiles much faster than the United States of America could make them, or much faster than the United States of America could deploy, more weapons or, more arsenal down to the Gulf. So, as it stands, while Iran continues to use both their drones and their hypersonic and ballistic missiles, many of them are also being intercepted, but because they usually launch these ballistic and hypersonic missiles in groups in their numbers, it becomes hard for the defense system to catch all of them. And that is exactly one of the reasons why Israel is still being hit today by Iran, because they launched these hypersonic missiles in their numbers, that the Israeli, Iron Dome becomes overwhelmed in intercepting all of that. That is also what happened with the case of I think Kuwait, as well as in United Arab Emirates, because otherwise the United Arab Emirates has a very powerful air defense system, which is called the THAAD, that was deployed. Billions of dollars were invested, and it was the United States of America that actually built that very defense system. So it is on record that Iran has capacity when it comes to ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, and drones. And that could be part of the compelling reason why the United States of America continues to, wax stronger to make sure that they are completely decapitated, Otherwise, if at the end of the day Iran prevails, then there will be a global shift of power. Because the way Iran is going, I mean, if all of these things does not happen in the nearest future, 10, 15 years, 20 years from now, Iran could stand to challenge any country in the world with respect to military capacity, even with their collapsing economy. They don't care about that, but they want to build that capability and build that strength, even as much more as building nuclear warheads. You know what I mean? So it's a trying times in the history of mankind. Like I said earlier, Iran will continue to fight to survive. They will continue to fight to defend their country, but them prevailing at the end of the day is not very certain, because they are now also being limited by the day, on their capacity to fire these missiles and their capacity to produce more of these missiles. So Israel is focusing on taking down their leadership. United States of America is equally focusing on destroying their ballistic missile capacity, ballistic missile production capacity. They are also equally doing this in collaboration with Israel. So it's a very trying time, and it's a very difficult time, to be very honest. And it has been officially acknowledged that 6 United States of American soldiers have been unalived. Principally, most of them were from the military base attack that was carried out by Iran in Kuwait. So when they attacked the United States of American defense system in Kuwait, so that was where principally most of them were unalived. But then, like I said, actions and reactions will always be equal but opposite. While Israel are losing some of their citizens, United States of America has acknowledged a number of their citizens gone. Death toll also continues to rise in Iran. Currently, some experts are saying that it is no longer 555,